Have you ever wondered if the never-ending search for love is really the way to happiness, or if there's a better way to approach relationships? What if the key to fulfilling connections isn't chasing after affection, but developing inner strength and self-respect? In this video, we'll look into the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, a famous Stoic philosopher, to find out how Stoicism can change the way you think about women, love, and personal happiness. By following the principles of reason, virtue, and self-control, you can build relationships based on respect and authenticity instead of desperation or neediness. Stay with us as we talk about how the Stoic way of thinking can help you live a better life and make better bonds with others. If you like these ideas, please like the video and share your thoughts in the comments. Also, don't forget to subscribe to Stoic Quotes 365 for more educational content and to check out our playlist. To learn more about how Stoic principles can improve every part of your journey, read Stoicism for a Fulfilling Life. Before we can really understand why chasing women might not be the best way to live your life, we need to look at the psychology behind it. A lot of men feel compelled to chase women because of social pressures, deep-seated evolutionary instincts, and their own insecurities. Society often romanticizes the idea of the relentless pursuer, the man who gets a woman's love through big gestures, hard work, and sometimes even trickery. For men, this story can make them feel like they have to show their worth all the time through relentless pursuit. But Stoicism gives us a different view so we don't get caught up in the chase. Stoicism tells us to stop, think, and consider what will really happen when we do something. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in his writings that we should not fight the natural flow of events but instead accept them as they come. He said, "Do not fear death but welcome it, for nature wills it like all else." While this saying is about accepting that bad things will happen in life, it's also a strong warning that we shouldn't try to change other people's minds in life or relationships just to get women. This wisdom tells us that death desperation and relentless pursuit often have unintended effects that hurt our relationships and make us feel unfulfilled. By letting things happen as they may, we free ourselves from the stress and pressure that often comes with the chase and let our relationships grow naturally. Stoicism tells us to be happy with what we have and let go of the need to control everything that happens. This method not only protects our honor, but it also helps people have better, more honest relationships. By practicing self-control, self-reflection, and acceptance, we can break out of the exhausting cycle of pursuit and instead focus on making connections based on mutual respect and understanding. This change in mindset helps us build relationships that are more fulfilling and in line with our true values, instead of chasing after fleeting wants. According to Stoicism, the pursuit of external things like material goods or romantic interests is not the ultimate goal. Instead, true fulfillment lies in developing inner strength, resilience, and self-mastery. By focusing our energy on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and reactions, we can find lasting happiness and contentment no matter what happens in the outside world. Instead of trying to change other people or our surroundings, this philosophy tells us to focus on changing ourselves. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, gives us deep insight into this journey of inner change when he says, "Don't waste any more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one when it comes to relationships." This wisdom tells us to focus on becoming the best form of ourselves instead of trying to make other people into our ideal. The focus is on virtue and self-improvement instead of the pursuit of short-lived pleasures. In real life, this means that instead of chasing after women or looking for approval through sexual relationships, we should work on improving our own character by becoming a man of virtue, integrity, and purpose. When we do this, we automatically attract relationships that are healthier and more meaningful. The Stoic path tells us to stop trying to control or trick other people and instead focus on becoming the kind of person whose deeds and values make others respect and admire them. The change in focus not only leads to better relationships but also a deep sense of inner peace. When we stop seeking approval from others and start to find contentment within, We free ourselves from the worries and disappointments that often come with seeking approval from others. In this way, Stoicism teaches us that the path to true contentment is not in the external chase, but in the internal journey towards self-mastery and wisdom. In relationships, virtue is very important in Stoicism. Virtue is a big part of how we live our lives, especially in relationships. The theory stresses living by reason, honesty, and moral principle. Marcus Aurelius says that the happiness of your life rests on the thoughts you have. This insight is especially useful when it comes to how we interact with others. Instead of seeking relationships or approval from others, focus on developing virtue within yourself and practicing knowledge. Do right. Courage and self-discipline are virtues that not only make you a better person, but they also naturally make people want to be around you. By embodying these virtues, you become a person of substance who draws people to them not through pursuit, but through the strength of your character accepting self-control. One of the main ideas behind Stoicism is how important it is to control yourself. To live a Stoic life, you need to be able to control your feelings and wants. In relationships, this rule is especially important. Don't pursue others out of impulse neediness or the desire for instant gratification. Marcus Aurelius said that you control your mind, not what happens in the outside world. Realize this and you will find strength. This wisdom applies directly to relationships. You can't change other people's actions or feelings, but you can change your own. By practicing self-control, you keep your cool and your emotions stable, which are important for making healthy, respectful connections. Respecting autonomy. When you're in a relationship, you often don't care about the other person's liberty or wants and needs. Instead, you focus on your own. In his meditations, Stoic tells us to respect the freedom and uniqueness of others. Everything is right for me, and it's right for you, O universe. Nothing for me is too early or too late, and it's in due time for you. This insight reminds us that we are part of a bigger cosmic order, and our wants should match that order. Instead of chasing others around, we should respect their choices and boundaries. This shows that you accept their independence and makes any relationship stronger. Learn the art of patience. Relationships often fail because people are impatient. The need for instant gratification can make us make hasty choices that are bad for our long-term health. Stoicism teaches us to be patient and that some things are worth waiting for. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, the key is to only hang out with positive people who make you want to be your best instead of rushing into relationships. Be patient and let time show you what kind of ties people really are. This way, you can be sure that the relationships you build are based on mutual respect and real compatibility. Turning away and being tough in relationships, rejection is common and often painful. Many people take rejection personally, which makes them feel angry, sad, or frustrated. Stoicism, on the other hand, offers a different view. Philosophy says that rejection is a normal part of life and not a sign of your worth. If you accept this, you can handle rejection with strength and grace instead of letting it lower your self-esteem. Use it as a chance to learn and grow and to think about yourself. When you see rejection as a task that can teach you something and help you get better, Stoicism gives you the strength to handle the ups and downs of relationships with calmness and strength. Stoicism gives philosophers a different way to look at rejection. Rejection is not something to be afraid of or see as a loss. Marcus Aurelius wrote something wise. Reject your sense of injury, and the injury itself goes away. Instead of seeing rejection as an attack on our self-worth, this teaching tells us to see it as a chance to grow and get better. In this light, rejection is just a normal part of life. It doesn't define who you are or make you less valuable as a person. Instead, it gives you a chance to learn, grow, and become stronger. How important view is. Stoicism stresses how important it is to stay logical and calm. A look at the problems and successes of life in relationships. This means not basing your happiness on how other people treat you. Marcus Aurelius says, when you wake up in the morning, Think of what a precious gift it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. Ive shows us that life is a gift in and of itself, and that our happiness shouldn't rest on approval from other people or success in relationships. Instead of looking for fulfillment in other people, we should focus on ourselves. Think about the good things in your life right now and the people you care about. This change in viewpoint lets you live your life with gratitude and happiness, no matter what happens outside. Making relationships that matter. Stoicism teaches that the best relationships are based on being honest and respecting each other, not trying to get someone to like you or approve of your actions. Conquest focuses on making real, deep relationships. In the context of relationships, Marcus Aurelius said, "Don't waste any more time arguing about what a good man should be." E1. This means being true to yourself, honest, kind, and rooted in virtue. When you are authentic in your interactions, you naturally attract people who value and appreciate you for who you are, not who you pretend to be. By following these Stoic principles, you can build relationships that are not only important, but also long-lasting, based on mutual respect and shared values. Changing how you see rejection. Keeping things in perspective and making real links. You make your life full of personal happiness and relationships that matter. This method helps you pay less attention to the chase and more to the real ESS. Sense of belonging and happiness. Stoic thought talks about the power of being happy. Finding happiness is an inner journey that doesn't depend on outside things or circumstances. Seeing things this way can completely change how we interact with others. Marcus Aurelius was smart when he said that to live a happy life, you only need to change the way you think about relationships and a few other things. This means that chasing other people in the hopes of finding happiness is a pointless pursuit in the end. True happiness can't be given by another person. It comes from within and is grown through a mindset of gratitude and acceptance of what is. By focusing on inner peace and self-awareness, we break free from the never-ending cycle of looking for fulfillment in other people, and instead, find it within ourselves. Being free from bond to Stoicism is based on the idea that you shouldn't be attached to anything outside of yourself, including relationships. This idea is especially important when we think about how we approach other people. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the best way to get back at someone who hurt you in a relationship is to be different from them. This shows us that the Stoic way is not to get even or hold on to anger when we are rejected or let down. Instead, Stoicism tells us to practice freedom from attachment, which means letting go of the need for outside approval and finding strength in being self-sufficient. By letting go of the emotional hold others may have over us, we become strong, rooted in our own sense of worth and no longer dependent on the approval or affection of others for our happiness. This way of thinking not only frees us from needless suffering, but also gives us the power to connect with others in a real and strong way, when we're not attached to how things turn out. This is the essence of Stoic contentment, finding peace and meaning within, and letting that inner strength guide our relationships and our lives. The Stoic approach to love. Stoicism gives us a deep and thoughtful view on love and relationships that goes beyond fleeting emotions and shallow connections. It encourages us to grow a love that is good, selfless, and lasting. Marcus Aurelius says that the best way to get even with someone is to not be like them. This advice helps us rise above the small fights and dramas that often happen in dating and relationships, instead of seeking revenge by manipulating or playing mind games. Stoicism tells us to love with respect, understanding, and selflessness. This way of loving means honoring both yourself and others, and seeing relationships as holy chances to grow in virtue rather than as transactions or thought experiment. Picture a relationship in which both people want to improve themselves, not because the other person wants them to, but because it's the right thing to do. At its core, Stoic love is a relationship based on mutual respect and real care, rather than one that is driven by ego. Pursuits embracing Stoicism in practice. Now that we've looked at the Stoic principles that can help us avoid the chase and have happier relationships, it's time to put these ideas into practice. Stoicism isn't just a philosophy to admire. It's a way of life that you should live. Start by showing patience, wisdom, and self-control in how you talk to people. When relationships get tough, ask yourself, how can I respond with honesty and kindness? How can I make things better? Instead of acting on impulse, follow Stoic principles in your daily life, and you'll find that your relationships become deeper and more based on real connection. This change will not only make you happier, it will also help you meet people who share your values and respect them. Remember that love, when approached with the heart of a Stoic, is not about having something or being in charge of someone else. It's about building a strong, good, and long-lasting bond. Here are some steps you can take to put these lessons into practice in your life. 1. Think about yourself. Start with the practice of self-reflection, which is an important part of Stoicism and can help you understand your inner world. Self-reflection is important for understanding your own drives, wants, and flaws. As you do it, you are asked to take a step back and honestly look at your thoughts and behaviors. Take some time to think about the relationships you've had in the past. Look for trends, both good and bad. Why did some relationships work out? Some connections change, but what were your assumptions and how did they affect the way those connections went? Self-reflection can help you figure out why you do the things you do and respond the way you do them. This process isn't about dwelling on past mistakes. It's about learning from them by getting to know your own emotions and thoughts. This will help you make better, more thoughtful choices in the future. Following the Stoic tradition gives you the knowledge to be more aware and deliberate in your future interactions. This practice of self-reflection helps you connect with your real self more deeply, leading you to a life that is more in line with your values and principles. Number 2, study self-help and growth. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Don't waste time arguing about what a good man should be." This wise saying tells us that the way to true happiness is through action, not words, and not by looking for approval from other people. Focus on putting your energy into getting better. Don't try to be the best version of yourself to please other people. Do it to live a life based on virtue and inner strength. Do things that make you happy, whether they're hobbies, school, or personal growth. By constantly improving your skills, learning new things, and growing your morals, these activities not only make you a better person, but they also give you a stronger sense of purpose. You become a more solid and honest person. In the Stoic tradition, this journey of self-improvement is not about getting praise from other people, but about building the inner strength and wisdom that will help you deal with life's difficulties. Remember that the goal is not perfection, but progress. Every step you take to improve yourself is a step toward living in line with your highest ideals, and when you do that, you naturally attract people who respect and admire the qualities you have. In the Stoic tradition, patience is a very powerful virtue, especially when it comes to relationships. Impatience makes us make hasty decisions and do things we may later regret. This is especially true when we're after other people, where our need for instant gratification can cloud our judgment and lead us astray. To avoid this, practice patience in all areas of your life and remember that the best things in relationships and personal growth come to those who wait. Being patient lets you stop, think, and make choices that are well thought out and based on logic instead of reacting on the spot. If you adopt this way of thinking, you can go into relationships with a steady mind and make decisions that are in line with your long-term goals and real values. Stress or uncertainty. Remember that patience is not a passive trait. It is a practice of self-discipline that teaches you to trust the process and let things happen naturally without trying to change the result. This way of doing things not only makes you stronger, but it also makes room for deeper, more important connections to grow over time. By being patient, you live by the Stoic principle of living in harmony with nature and understanding that everything has its season and time. When looking for bonds, learn to be grateful. Stoicism shows us the deep value of not getting caught up in what you don't have and always wanting more. Changing the way we see things by practicing thanks. Marcus Aurelius said, "There isn't much you need to make a happy life, it's all in your thoughts." This reminder pushes us to look within and see the abundance that's already in our lives. By taking a moment every day to think about what you're thankful for, you can change your outlook. Being thankful is a simple habit that can help you find happiness inside, lowering the desire to seek approval from others or chase after short-lived wants. Being thankful keeps you in the present. You'll be able to enjoy the richness of life as it is instead of always trying to find what you think is missing. As you develop this habit, you'll notice a change in how you approach relationships. Instead of feeling like you need to fill a void, you'll start to feel full, which will naturally attract others. Thank you encourages a mindset of abundance by telling you that true happiness doesn't come from what you get, but from appreciating what you already have. This inner contentment sets the stage for deeper connections based on appreciation instead of need. 5. Respect liberty. This is a basic rule that should be followed in all relationships, but it's especially important when interacting with women. Stoic philosophy tells us that everyone has their own wants, needs, and paths in life. Realizing this is important for building respectful and meaningful relationships. Instead of trying to change someone's mind or make them fit your expectations, accept their uniqueness. Understand that people's choices are their own, and that trying to control or persuade them will only make them angry and frustrated. If someone isn't interested, accept it with grace and move on without being angry or disappointed. It shows how strong and mature you are, and it also fits with the Stoic way of thinking that you should focus on what you can control about your actions and feelings and let go of what you can't. By respecting other people's rights, you show that you value their freedom just as much as your own, by making room for real relationships to grow together. 6. Reframe. Stoics believe that failure is a normal part of life that can teach us important lessons. It's not something to be afraid of or avoid. Rejection doesn't make you less valuable or less worthy as a person. Instead, see it as a chance to grow and become more resilient and self-controlled. If you change your point of view, you can see rejection as a stepping stone instead of a problem. When you face rejection, use the philosophical technique of reframing instead of seeing it as a personal failure. See it as a situation that gives you understanding and knowledge, like how a blacksmith shapes metal. As the saying goes, rejection through fire can make you stronger and more refined. Remember that what matters is not the rejection itself, but how you react to it. By changing the way you think about rejection, you can turn it from a painful experience into a way to grow and move forward with grace and determination. This way of thinking will lead you to Stoic wisdom. This way of doing things helps you remember that your worth doesn't depend on what other people think or do, but on your own inner strength and how you handle life's difficulties. 7th. Build meaningful. Linking up. Stoics believe that the goal of relationships should not be to get others, but to make meaningful connections with them. Instead of going into interactions with a plan, they say, act with authenticity and genuine respect. Each connection should be seen as a chance to build trust and mutual understanding, not as a way to get to another goal. Being honest in your relationships will show. Taking a genuine interest in the person you're talking to, listening carefully, and valuing their uniqueness are all ways to approach relationships in a way that makes them more satisfying and last longer. Meaningful connections based on respect and authenticity naturally grow into relationships that stand the test of time and circumstance. By putting quality over quantity in your relationships, you align with the Stoic principle of living with intention and integrity. This approach not only improves your own life, but also fosters connections that are built to last, relationships that are based on genuine care and mutual respect, instead of fleeting desires or superficiality. Pursuits. Number 8. Let go of external validation. In Stoic philosophy, seeking approval or attention from others is seen as a distraction from true inner strength. Instead of relying on others for approval or attention, focus on developing a sense of self-worth that comes from within. This internal validation is much more stable and long-lasting, freeing you from the need to constantly seek affirmation through relationships or external achievements. By embracing self-sufficiency, you develop a quiet confidence that isn't affected by other people's opinions. This inner strength lets you live a life that is true to your own values instead of being shaped by what other people expect of you. Stoicism stresses how important it is to control your feelings, especially when things are hard. This practice is necessary to keep your cool and sanity, which are both very important when dealing with relationships that are complicated. You can handle the ups and downs of life with more grace and honesty in your relationships if you learn to control your emotions. Being able to control your emotions lets you respond carefully instead of rashly. This steadiness builds trust and stability within you and in your relationships with others. Whether you're dealing with conflict, disappointment, or joy, the Stoic approach tells you to stay centered and make choices that are in line with your values and long-term goals. By doing this, you not only make your character stronger, but you also encourage relationships that are better and more balanced, based on respect and understanding for each other. Number 10. Follow the Stoic custom and look for good love. Love isn't just a feeling, it's a practice based on virtue. To seek virtuous love, you have to look for connections that are based on wisdom, justice, courage, and self-discipline. This kind of love isn't just about short-term pleasures or superficial attractions. It wants to build a stronger bond based on mutual respect, kindness, and morality. Being honest. To be serious about love, you have to be dedicated to building relationships that make both people better and help each other grow in virtue and character. This kind of love doesn't try to control or want the best in each other, but through mutual respect and shared values. By following this philosophy, you change your focus from short-term pleasure to long-term fulfillment, building relationships that last and make your life better. In this way, love isn't just a feeling, it's a way of life that reflects your highest values. By pursuing virtuous love, you align your relationships with the deeper purpose of personal growth and moral excellence, making connections that are not only lasting but truly transformative. We've talked about how Stoicism can help you stop chasing women and take a more balanced approach to dating, but it's also important to think about how these teachings can shape long-term relationships. After all, sticking to the same Stoic principles we've talked about so far is a key part of being in a successful long-term relationship. Accept morality and Stoicism. Being good is the basis of a good life, and this is also true in long-term relationships. To apply this to your relationship, make sure that your actions and choices are always the same. Based on the core Stoic values of wisdom, law, and order, bravery, and self-control. Not only do these traits shape who you are, but they also shape how you interact with your partner. To be a good partner, you should always try to be honest, fair, and caring, even when things get tough. You should also look for a partner who values these same traits. When two people in a relationship are committed to growing together and supporting each other in the pursuit of a meaningful and principled life, that relationship is based on virtue. By embracing virtue in your relationship, you create an environment where both you and your partner can thrive, building a bond that is strong, real, and deeply satisfying. Number 2. Stoic philosophy says to keep your cool. Having self-control is important. It's important to be able to control your emotions, especially during times of conflict and struggle, not only when looking for a relationship, but also during the whole process of being in a long-term relationship. Stoicism tells you to stop, think, and look at every situation with a quiet and clear mind. When things go wrong, instead of reacting quickly, practice self-control by taking a step back and carefully thinking about what to say. This will not only help you deal with disagreements with grace, but it will also strengthen the foundation of your relationship by helping you stay calm and make decisions based on facts rather than feelings. In a long-term relationship, you help make the bond strong and peaceful. Self-control is a powerful tool that helps people respect and understand each other. It also helps both partners grow by letting them deal with life's ups and downs with grace and wisdom. By practicing self-control, you become strong and stable like the Stoics. Building a friendship based on trust and long-term commitment. Number 3. Be patient, because problems and hurdles are bound to come up in a long-term relationship. Stoicism shows us that patience is not just a virtue, but a must-have for getting through these times. It's important to keep in mind that not everything will go the way you want it to, and that some problems will take time to fix. My good mood. Instead of trying to fix problems or control what happens, being patient lets you weather the storms and enjoy the relationship's slow growth. Accept how things are going with a steady and calm mind. Heart. By practicing patience, you not only improve your relationship with your partner, but you also learn more about them and feel closer to them. This is in line with the Stoic idea of accepting life's natural rhythms. This way of thinking makes you stronger so you can both grow and find peace in the journey, instead of being driven by the need for right-away solutions. 4. Value independence and stoicism. Respecting the autonomy of others is very important, and this idea applies to long-term relationships too. Just as you respect people's autonomy when you're dating, you should continue to respect your partner's individuality as your relationship grows. Deepa. Respecting and supporting each other's choices and life paths without trying to control or dominate is the foundation of a healthy partnership. By recognizing and appreciating your partner's independence, you make room for both of you to grow. Thrive Respects for Liberty makes sure that your relationship stays a partnership of equals, where everyone's thoughts and choices are respected. Stoic philosophy says that real love and respect are not found in things but in the freedom to be oneself, while still choosing to walk the path together. Taking this method leads to a relationship that is strong, balanced, and based on trust and mutual understanding. Number 5. In long-term relationships, how to handle being turned down politely. Rejection can show up in many forms, such as arguments, different points of view, or changes in how someone feels. Stoicism tells us to not get angry or frustrated in these situations, but to deal with them with grace and calmness. Think of rejection as a chance to learn more about yourself and your partner. Every setback and disagreement is a chance to make you and your relationship stronger. If you go into rejection with an open mind and a calm heart, you can turn it into a valuable lesson that helps you understand both of them better. This practice not only makes you stronger, but it also helps you grow as a pair by turning problems into steps toward a stronger, more harmonious relationship. Connection. By adopting this Stoic attitude, you gain the knowledge to handle the expected ups and downs of a long-term relationship with grace and purpose, always looking for ways to get better and grow together. Number 6. Develop meaningful connections. As your relationship grows, it's important to keep nurturing the connections that brought you together in the first place. Stoic philosophy teaches us how important it is to base relationships on shared values. Respecting each other and being honest with each other are the most important parts of a good, long-lasting relationship. To keep your relationship real and satisfying, keep investing in these connections. Have talks that help you understand each other better, and stay committed to helping each other grow by focusing on what really matters: trust, respect, and honesty. You make sure that your relationship stays strong and stable over time. In this way, you create a partnership that not only lasts, but also deeply enriches both people, making them feel understood, valued, and connected on a deep level. By making this ongoing commitment, your relationship can thrive based on the values that give it meaning and longevity. 7th number, find contentment within Stoicism, tells us that true contentment comes from within, regardless of what is going on around us, especially in a long-term relationship. If you don't count on your partner to make you happy or fulfilled all the time, this principle becomes very important. By focusing on your own inner peace and happiness, you bring a steady and balanced presence into your relationship. This lets you share that inner peace with your partner, creating a dynamic where both people are whole and self-sufficient yet deeply connected. In this way, your relationship becomes a base of mutual growth and support, where each person's happiness enhances the other. By taking this approach, You embody the Stoic ideal of finding fulfillment within yourself, which strengthens the bond you share with your partner, creating a relationship that is both harmonious and long-lasting. The eighth rule is to stay free from attachment in long-term interactions. It's easy to get stuck in the trap of unhealthy attachment, where your partner becomes a source of stress for you. Stoicism, on the other hand, shows you how important it is to stay detached from outside things, like relationships. This doesn't mean being detached from love or loyalty. It means taking a balanced view that lets you love deeply. By developing a sense of freedom, you can enjoy your relationship while still keeping your own identity and inner peace. This way of thinking lets you be fully present in your relationship, giving love and support without putting too much need or dependence on the other person. This creates a healthier dynamic where both people are free to grow and thrive together while remaining whole and content within themselves. Adopting this Stoic principle will ensure that your relationship stays strong and fulfilling, based on mutual respect and shared values, instead of dependency or attachment. This approach fosters a love that is long-lasting, resilient, and enriched by the strength of two strong but connected individuals. Number 9. Accept Stoic love. Along the way of a long-term relationship. Stoicism gives us a deep way to look at love that we could call Stoic love is a type of love that comes from not caring about yourself, really knowing your partner, and genuinely wanting the best for them. It's not based on want or short-term emotions, but on wanting the growth and betterment of both people involved. Stoic love means always choosing to be kind, patient, and honest. It means being there for your partner through life's problems while keeping your own sense of purpose and ethics. This kind of love isn't based on need or self-interest. It comes from a genuine desire to see your partner succeed, knowing that by helping them grow, you will also improve yourself. If you follow this theory, you can build a relationship that is strong and deeply satisfying. Stoic love turns your relationship into a journey of personal and mutual growth, building a bond that lasts through time and hardship. When you look at love this way, it becomes a strong force for good that makes your life and the life of your partner better in meaningful and lasting ways. Number 10. Keep your emotions in check in a long-term relationship. It's important to keep your emotions in check. While passion is often what drives people in the beginning of a relationship, a long-term relationship needs mental stability and strength. Stoicism gives you the tools to handle the tricky parts of a relationship. Keep your cool and use common sense. As time goes on, problems will come up that will test your patience, understanding, and self-control. Stoicism teaches you to stay calm, to pause, and to think before you act. Being able to control your feelings in a thoughtful way lets you handle tough situations with grace instead of acting on impulse. By staying emotionally stable, you not only make your relationship stronger, but you also create an atmosphere of trust and respect. This steadiness helps you and your partner deal with the ups and downs of life together, creating a partnership that is strong and deeply connected. By following the principles of Stoicism, you can keep harmony and balance in your relationship, making sure that it stays strong and fulfilling over time as you go through long-term relationships. The Stoic principles you've adopted will help you keep a relationship that is satisfying, polite, and long-lasting. Marcus Aurelius' wise words remind us of how important it is to be good, have self-control, be patient, show respect, and keep your cool. If you follow these Stoic ideals in your everyday life, you can build a relationship based on mutual growth. By showing deep respect and a deep connection, you'll avoid chasing after short-lived wants and instead build a bond that brings you permanent happiness and contentment. Choose to be calm in your relationships and remember what Marcus Aurelius said. The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. If you follow these lessons, you can build a good, long-lasting relationship where you both find happiness and share it with your partner. If you liked this video, I invite you to keep watching my stream for more insights. Stoicism for a happy life. Don't forget to like, share, and follow for more wise words that can make your journey better. Let's keep going down this path together, building power, wisdom, and deep connections.